This week, we're looking at a favorite topic of mine, heuristics and cognitive biases and their impact on decision making. So, what is a heuristic? What are cognitive biases? Well, in general, a heuristic is nothing more than a rule of thumb. It's a mental shortcut that we use to help speed decision making, to avoid having to expend unnecessary mental energy. And heuristics are great in our everyday life. Figuring out what you're going to have for lunch, figuring out the route that you take for work, no big deal. However, when we get into complex decision making, such as the type in a corporate or business strategy setting, these heuristics and these cognitive biases can make us susceptible to blind spots and, frankly, just lead to some suboptimal outcomes. So today, we're just going to look at 5 really common ones. And then I'm going to give you some resources to do a little bit of your own research, because this video would be far too long to try to cover even part of the full list of heuristics and biases that exist in the field of decision science, behavioral economics, these types of things. So let's look at these 5. Real quick, real brief. Number 1, the availability heuristic or the availability bias. And this is simply our tendency to rely on recent information, recent events, or easily recalled events. And so this gets us into trouble because just because it happened recently, or just because it comes to mind with ease, doesn't mean it's relevant. Doesn't mean it has any bearing on the next decision that we need to make. But because it's there, we tend to put weight towards it. Number 2, the confirmation bias. And this can present itself in 3 different ways. First, our tendency to seek out information that validates our existing beliefs. But it appears in 2 additional ways, and they're a little bit more insidious. The first is the tendency to avoid conflicting information that would challenge your beliefs or prove your hypothesis wrong. And then the third is to misinterpret or confuse information and put it in a context that validates you even though it doesn't. So the confirmation bias can sort of send us on that slippery slope of bad decision making, trying to get to validation rather than trying to get to the best answer. Number 3, information overload. And we could really call this one paralysis by analysis, but it's also more than that. Indecision doesn't get us anywhere. But we're talking about information overload, and especially in today's always connected, always on, 24-hour news and social media bombardment, noise and signals. Most of what we're getting is noise. Really nothing to do with it. It's not actionable, it's not relevant, it's just noise. However, embedded in that noise is the information that we need, the signals, the juicy stuff that is going to help us make the best decision and lead to those desirable outcomes. But as you get more and more and more and more information coming at you, most of it is going to be noise. And it's going to cause either you to miss those signals or mistake noise for signals. Once again, if that happens, higher potential for suboptimal outcomes. And then framing, number 4. And this is really just how a situation is presented to you, how a choice is presented. And the simplest example that I can give, gain versus loss. And this will hopefully show you how these heuristics can sort of cascade one on top of another, because framing and loss aversion, those are 2 separate heuristics. Those are 2 separate biases. But in framing context, if the outcome, no matter what, is the same, your decision, it's going to result in the same outcome. If I frame it as a gain, you're going to be more inclined to take that decision. If I frame it as a loss, conversely, probably not going to be as likely to make that decision. So how I choose to present it to you can directly influence what you ultimately do. And then finally, groupthink, herd mentality. And this is one where I have had to counsel a number of professionals in the past, specifically in the oil field, dealing with pipe companies. They want to make higher grade, more advanced products, but they don't have the experience and they haven't done the work to gain the experience. So Well, would you consider buying this from us? Have you made this product before? Have you done any trials? Well, no. Have you sought out quality raw material providers so that you've got good inputs to make this product? Well, no, not yet. Have you evaluated any of the technical specifications and looked at the information, skills, knowledge, expertise that you need to make the product? I mean, no, not really. Okay. What about the risk management side? If I have a problem with your product, are you gonna make it right? You gonna help my customer? You gonna help me? Well, we hadn't thought about that either. Okay. Well, can I ask, what is pushing you towards this decision? Well, a lot of people buy this product and we want to sell it. Okay. How is that good corporate decision making? How is that good corporate strategy? You know, the lemmings running to the cliff. That's not a good strategy. So groupthink, just because everybody's doing it, doesn't mean that it's the right path for you, your team, your company, whatever. So that's 5 in a nutshell. And there's a lot more out there. So check out the links, do a little bit of additional research, and then we'll keep diving into this topic throughout the week. Until then, thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.